Molly, and this is my movie about Indalsälven.
The river Indalsälven is located in the northern part of Sweden. It starts in the mountains close to Norway and rounds out in the Baltic Sea north of the city Sundsvall. With an approximate catchment area of 27,000 square kilometers, is it the fifth biggest river in Sweden and stretching a bit over 400 kilometers. Except from the delta, there is no heavy industry present around the river, and human settlement is low. Even so, the public access is high due to the road network in the area, and a couple areas are more populated. In those areas, agriculture is more common and eutrophication is higher. However, overall, eutrophication isn't a problem in Indalsälven. In fact, it's the other way around. Since 1960, the level of phosphorus has decreased and the river is now considered to be oligotrophic or even in some parts ultra-oligotrophic. Increased water treatment and water control could be some of the reasons behind the reduced nutrient level. Another possible reason is changes in forest management. Today, a border of trees, a so-called buffer zone, is left between logging and water. Sweden's forest history is characterized by wildfires, and by leaving those buffer zones, we stop the natural fertilization of the water. When the nutrient level in the river is getting poorer, the drinking water quality goes up due to the low algae content. It's not only good. Low nutrient levels can be a threat to some species. The fish population in the river, which is already threatened by the hydroelectric power production, is highly affected, because Indalsälven is, as many of the rivers in Scandinavia, highly developed by hydroelectric power production. Hydroelectric power represents almost half of the electric power in Sweden, and Indalsälven has 31 power plants with a total power of 2090 megawatts, which makes it to one of the most power plant-rich rivers in Sweden. The power plants serve as migration barriers and have changed the availability of spawning grounds for salmon, and the wild population has decreased drastically. This way to get electricity has another drawback as well. Today the natural water variation is disturbed by the power plants, because the water is saved in big dams to be able to produce electricity during the winter when the natural water level is low. This also affects the organisms in and around the river, and those that are not able to adapt to big changes in, for example, water speed and oxygen level might eventually die. Some parts of the river and some tributaries are protected as Natura 2000 areas, for example, Ammerån, Åreälven and the Delta. Natura 2000 is a project that aims to protect species and nature types with the highest conservation value in the EU. Important factors that are identified as threats to the river ecosystem are air pollutions like nitrogen, continued expansion of hydroelectric power, fertilization from forestry and agriculture, and infrastructure development. Another factor that is affecting the water is the increased tourism, especially in popular tourist attractions such as ski resorts. To improve and maintain a high water quality, it is proposed to stop the expansion of hydropower and keep a natural ecosystem in and around the river, and thereby stop fragmentation of wildlife habitat. It is also proposed to regulate fishing in some areas, restore damage from timber floating, and use edge zones when fertilize forest and farmlands. Other things that could be useful are to try to make the water flow more natural, facilitate for the fish by keep developing fish ladders, and turn off the turbines when the smolt migrate to the sea. The fish ladders are designed so the fish can migrate back to the spawning grounds, and to turn off the turbines would help the smolt to survive when they migrate down to the sea. So overall, the ecological status in this river is quite good, especially in terms of water quality, but there are still improvements to be done when it comes to rivers' flora and fauna. To reach the goal with a healthy ecosystem, all parts need to take their responsibilities, from the people that are living in the area to politicians and the power companies. If we do that, Indalsälven will once again become a river full of life.